examen, récupération, reprise, okay? You do your exam, let's say Monday morning. Andrew passed your exam, that means Andrew doesn't come in Tuesday, doesn't come in Wednesday. Dario, you failed your exam, means you gotta come back Tuesday, do another exercise. We look at your exam, we say, okay, you framed your dormer perfectly, but your shingles are a mess. So let's look at the dormer quick. You're pretty confident with that. Let's take a closer look at your shingles. Redo some shingles. You don't even have to do it completely. We're just gonna look at what you screwed up. Tweak it a bit, do a few exercises. Once you're ready, come back the next day, do your exam. You can't do it that day because it's a 6-hour exam. So you're not gonna do your recuperation in 15 minutes and rush right into your exam. So you're gonna do a few exercises. Once you're ready and you're confident, I'm confident that you passed, and you go home and you come back the next day and you do your exam. If you don't come in that Tuesday or whatever day it was this week, that means when you show up Wednesday, you don't just walk in and do your exam, you have to do your recuperation. So now, like I said, Yan and Najim, they're ready for their exams. So if we do walls and everybody passes walls, instead of them getting the day off on the recuperation day, they can come in and do their roof exam. The guys that didn't even show up for recuperation, well, they've got to do a day of recoup and they've got to do another day of an exam. You guys are very busy people in the school. You don't have loose afternoons here and there, so now we have to find time for Andreas.
It wasn't he done yesterday?
The retake was yesterday, you know? So it's a real pain because no one showed up Tuesday. We don't even know what day we are. We're there. Thursday, Wednesday. No one showed up Wednesday. Heidi showed up, yeah. So Heidi, there's a perfect case. So Heidi showed up, she did her recoup. Michael, she did her recoup, and then she came in yesterday and did her exam. So the people that didn't show up, what day were we? Wednesday, really screwed up. It really shoots yourself in the foot, it shoots me in the foot, because I want to finish this module. I want all my kids to get the check on their file saying they've done roofs. Now I've done Andreas.
So now that we finished it, let's say for some reason we drop out of school, we can go into roofing because we graduated it?
Well, you finished the module, but you don't have your DEP yet, or your
so we can't do
DBS.
roofing even though we finished the module? Like, let's say I want to go into roofing.
Yeah.
Can I go into roofing because I finished the module, or I have to get my whole DEP?
Boy, you get it all. Yeah. It's just one module in the whole course, in your 19 modules you have to do.
So I know from when I was doing mechanics, I finished welding.
Yeah.
And because I finished welding, I was able to go into a field and start welding.
Oh, really?
I had to do like a trade of welding.
Yeah, here you need your DEP, and then you can get your apprentice card, and then you're gonna move on and become a go-master. It's all part of it. That's why I keep telling you guys in this new group next door here, it's really important to do all your modules. Like I'm doing Santé Sécurité, it's the same sort of thing. It's 20 little modules. One guy had an emergency with his family yesterday, so he couldn't make it in. So I'm like, you have to redo that module. You can't miss a day of that course. You guys did it. You can't miss a minute, really, you know? So I told him, I was like, okay, well, your mom's sick. I'm not saying, you know, like some things are more important, obviously, but he's going to have to redo that module. So the big pain in the butt is finding time to redo that module. I think he's okay, Jesse. I think he's okay because I think we're going to have a night course for Santé Sécurité. So if you guys have missed any modules, you'll be okay. You can redo them at night. But it's a pain in the butt. It's a real pain in the butt. I was very, well, I'm not going to say angry, but a little peeved Wednesday when no one showed up, because that's the day where you go over everything, and that's your recuperation, and then everybody would have done their exam, redone their exam Thursday, and then we're done with roofs. So yeah, didn't work out too well. But it's only one. It's only one that we got to do recoup. So I don't know when we're going to find time to do another exam, but we'll get into that. Okay. All right. We're done with roofs. What'd you guys think of the module?
Cool.
It's cool? Yeah. To me, it's one of the funner ones. It's a little complicated when you get into the cuts and all that, but I think we were almost done with all the heavy theory. We did the dormer roof, the hip roof. I mean, you can't get much more complicated than a hip roof, and all of you guys pulled it off no problem. Like, I found that whole part went really, really well. When we had all the hip roofs framed and all that, I was super, super happy. We did all our classroom work, we transferred it all down below. A few glitches here and there, a few question marks or whatever, but in the end, it worked out fine. And then we got to the dormers. A bit tricky having another teacher come in. I apologize for that, but that's kind of part of the system. But in the end, you get some extra tricks off Dan. You get to deal with Dan for a bit too. Jesse, off the phone, man. Okay, see who's here, who's not here. I don't know what's going on today. Andreas isn't here. No Christophe, no Sterling, no Julian, no Francois. Jesse's here. No Najim. Kevin. No Kevin. Andrew's here. No George. Well, I don't know what's going on with you guys, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Not even half.
9 counting Etienne.
Not even half.
Not even half. See what sucks now? What really sucks for me? I'm giving crap to the wrong guys, right? You're here, so I should be speaking with the guys that aren't here. But the real pain in the butt is we're starting walls. So I'm going to do a whole bunch of theory this morning. Okay, mostly vocabulary, terminology, methods, blah blah blah. And then this afternoon we're taking all the roofs down because we have to start walls Monday morning. We start doing wall exercises. So that means you guys get stuck doing all the work. And that means you guys are the only ones that have my theory. So what am I supposed to do? Come in Monday morning and redo all this? I can't send you guys home. You're here, you're eager beavers. I can't wait for all the guys that never show up. But there's a consistent problem with this group of people not showing up. And I've never seen it so bad. I know it's Friday. I know Friday afternoons with the other groups. Sure, you miss a few guys. But you go look at 171, even 175. Well, they just started. They're all there. For you guys, I don't know what's going on. It's the morale's low. I know Stephanie's sick, but Najim is literally every second day. Every second day. And this is just not enough. Huh?
To make them demolish everything.
Well, yeah. Honestly, if I had it my way, if they all showed up at noon, I'd maybe have you guys sit there and drink Coronas and have them demo the roofs. Because it's like, why should you guys do it? And Heidi said it yesterday. She goes, you know, no one's going to show up tomorrow. And that's, well, Heidi, that's me having to take all the roofs apart all alone. Okay, Heidi's not going to be that extreme. But you see where the problem is? So part of it is your group efforts, your group taking down the roofs and cleaning up and putting everything away, and the teaching. I'm teaching you guys. You're fine. You'll have a head start on everyone else because you're getting a good chunk of theory this morning. I'm not going to sit here and teach all this again. I'm putting on a big show for Etienne, and the guys that aren't here aren't even going to get the big show. So kudos to you guys. I mean, you're doing way better than them, but it's a real problem in this group, and it's I'm going to try and nip it in the bud. It's very it's very hard to teach a half group, you know.
Repeat yourself.
Well, that's the thing that drives me nuts, because I'll teach you guys what a stud is. What do you think Monday morning is going to be? Najim grab a stud, and Najim's going to go, what's a stud? Well, here we go, you know, like that's the problem. So, anyways, Vincent's here, Michael's here, Dario's here. Heidi, where's Heidi? She's still parking?
Maybe because they're not parking, I don't know.
Not even Heidi today.
Do we still get the drinks though?
You still get the drinks?
Yeah.
What do you mean the drinks? The Coronas?
Yeah.
No, you don't get the Coronas. If they all show up at noon, you get Coronas. How's that?
So we make sure they come to their house and we try to steal.
Miguel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking this one.
Ludwig's here. And no Zaman either, right?
Where's not even that good?
Who's Nicholas?
Is the Greek guy there? That's all the
He's always with He's not here.
He's not here now.
He's not here.
He's not here. Did he pass the exam, that guy?
Yeah. The only loose ends I have are Jan and Najim, and they're fine after yesterday. It's not a problem. It's Andreas that I gotta deal with, that I gotta find. Like really, there's no time. You guys are so busy. You look at your schedule, you're doing something every day, every afternoon. Well, yeah, that's another problem too. Yeah, you see, normally they got guys, Jesse, Michael, a wall exam we could do on the floor right here. You know, a roof exam, you need a roof. You gotta get set up. So before anything to do a roof exam, you gotta build a little mini roof.
Are we gonna have to leave one in town?
No, we don't have enough room for that. So you gotta kind of set up something temporarily, or I don't know. I'm working on. I might set up some trusses and
Yeah.
do it that way.
And Wednesday too? Wednesday too?
Oh, we're working.
Okay, your wall framing module, all right? Guys, Michael, Jesse, your wall module, it pretty much starts like Monday, okay? We're gonna do the theory this morning, like I said, this afternoon, demolish the roofs, get ready, clean down there, cage, everything, all clean. Monday morning, come in, we'll start doing wall exercises. So what I'm teaching you today, first thing in the morning, Monday morning, we're gonna start tracing and building walls. You have Dan for 3 afternoons next week. So you get me in the morning and then Dan in the afternoon. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. After that, you get me nonstop, right till the end. Pretty much all of April. Yeah, pretty much right to the end of April. Can you guys see this? So there's next week, there's Monday. There's me gone in the afternoons, going to my Sunday Security next door. So you have Dan Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon, and then after that, it's just me giving the exam, me teaching the whole course. Cool? Won't get all mixed up. I'll teach you my way, and that's the only way. Cool? All right. Your course outline. Module 13, wall framing. Module 13 aims at acquiring knowledge and skills to erect wall framing according to the rules of the trade. Not only will the student have to apply previously acquired skills, but he will also have to learn the norms and rules governing the erection of such structures. Elements of the competency, plan the work, performance criteria, that's spelled wrong, accurate interpretation of drawings, appropriate estimate of the quantity of materials needed, correct establishment of a cutting list for the walls, appropriate representation in a sketch, install and mark wall plates, safe anchoring of wall plates to the floor, correct identification of studs and openings, assemble wood and metal wall frames, construction of lintels consistent with the National Building Code of Canada, precise assembly and squaring, appropriate installation of sheathing, air barrier, and furring, and appropriate choice and use of wall raising. Raise and anchor the walls. Methods, precise alignment of walls, safe anchoring and bracing of walls, mark and assemble wood and metal partitions, accurate positioning of partition on floor, correct marking of studs and opening on walls, precise leveling of partitions and openings, and to tidy up the work area. Links with other modules. It links with module 2, 3, 4, and 5. Educational methods and activities, theoretical lectures, theoretical and practical exercises, exercise demonstrations, video, PowerPoint. Like most modules, it's going to be a bit of theory. I give you a printed out chapter, that cool book that we use. So you get a little bit of theory, just like in roofs. We go over the theory up here, terminology, calculations, all that stuff, and then we apply it down below. So same sort of thing as roofs. Only bonus is, it's way less complicated. There's no slope gain factor, there's nothing crooked, walls are 90 degrees, very straightforward. There's a bit of math, of course, there's always a bit of math. Calculations for openings, heights of studs, stuff like that, nothing too complicated. If you made it through roofs, you'll make it through walls, no problem. The only big difference from roofs and walls is a lot more hustle, a lot more nailing. Yeah, you're gonna have to, the exam, it's usually time that gets the students. So it's efficiency, banging in those nails. You got a new hammer?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually did.
It's a little more like coffrage. It's a little more kind of manual labor intensive instead of math intensive. Like really when you were down there on the floor and you're nailing in your jack rafters and that, you're not sweating too much, maybe your brain's hurting a little bit, but really manually it's not that bad. Whereas walls, it gets a little more intensive. Nothing too bad. But it's also one of the fun ones too. Because when students join the course, they kind of come in here to do residential stuff. Nobody ever comes here with the idea if I really want to do coverage or I really want to do fanning the beat or something like that. So. Learning assessments, assessment for learning and feedback are embedded in the very dynamics of teaching. Work and exercise will be administered during the learning process in order to allow students to take stock of the development of their skills. Students who have not achieved the level of performance expected from these assessments will be required to complete recovery activities before being admitted to the final assessment. Okay, you get that? Recuperation, you gotta come in. Okay, guys, don't forget this module. Like I said, it'll be me doing it. We won't be mixing any teachers, so there'll be less overlapping. You come in, you do your exam. If you pass your exam, like Andrew, man, you haven't been here in 2 weeks or something, right? You did your exam Thursday, Friday was off, bad example. Let's say Andrew does his exam Monday, right? If he passes, he doesn't have to come in Tuesday, he doesn't have to come in Wednesday, okay? If Andrew fails his exam Monday, he comes in Tuesday, not to do his exam, but to do a recuperation, to do another exercise, to tweak his skills, to get him up to par to do his exam. Then he comes in Wednesday and bangs out the exam and will probably get 100% because he's built the thing 3 times now. Cool? That's how it works, guys. Okay, that's about it for the course. Any questions? Any questions about routes? No? No questions about the course?
So what's happening for today?
I just told you.
But after we're gonna do the cleaning.
Yeah.
Why don't we do the cleaning Monday? For everyone.
What, now your strategy is to go home for the afternoon?
Huh? I'm gonna clean some
What am I gonna deal with?
It makes sense, so.
That makes sense though.
I mean,
No.
I don't like cleaning my own thing, but like cleaning everybody else's, it's like,
I mean, considering the fact that
That's a great idea.
That's a great idea. Well, why don't we just call it off full till Tuesday morning? Take Friday afternoon and Monday off, so you guys can rest. So you're full of energy, because you know what's going to happen Monday morning or even Tuesday morning? It's going to be the same 8 guys here and the same way they don't show up.
They know we're demolishing today, because they know at the end of a module, because
Which is terrible. It's the rules they built. Like that's the problem with this group is there's an ethics problem. Like you're sitting at home going, oh, I'm going to stay at home and play video games because I know Andrew's going to go in and he's going to kick ass and put all the roof stuff away. Like it's terrible. It's not you guys. I keep giving crap to the wrong guys. It's the guys that aren't here that are in bed right now,
You should like.
going, oh,
it's gonna be like this the rest of the year.
oh, I know it's terrible. I don't know what to do with you guys. You know?
My points off the exam.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, like, you know, you guys, you were good for a bit. Like there was days where François was here and Najim. It's like I'm having a party and I got no friends, you know. And then some days I have all my friends show up, and you know, it's a real problem.
It's worse this week because we didn't have school all week.
Yeah, and starting a module on a Friday. I mean, sometimes I'm stuck starting a module on a Friday afternoon, and there it's just there it's kind of hopeless. There I'll maybe do something else and start fresh. But since Etienne's here, we're gonna start today. Jesse, Michael, you too.
Today I don't know.
Chatty little teenagers. Okay.
Normally we're quiet this morning. Ben, basically, il avait raison, ça c'est pas de ramasser beaucoup de gens qui sont pas là.
Oui, mais moi j'ai pas de choix, là.
No, that's not happening. Because look, Monday people are gonna still have to take down roofs. Because some people are not here.
No, you guys will stay late and get it all done. Which I really appreciate, Andrew. That's great. So eat a big lunch because you guys are going to be working hard this afternoon. No, you'll go down there, you'll clean up, you'll do what you can. Like your roof, that's your roof. Your roof, you guys will take that apart. Miguel, you're on the other side there. You're going to start taking your plywood off. Don't kill yourselves. Start putting the trusses away. You'll be with Dan this afternoon. So part of it is you got to put all the trusses on a pallet, strap them down. Dan will put them away somewhere. Michael, Jesse, I'm going to split you two up if you don't shut up. You two, that's another little roof right there. You can start taking that apart. Vincent, you're with them too. Jan and Ludwig over on the other end. It's not a huge job to take all these roofs down. If you're really upset, don't work too hard, but you should be fine. Okay, walls.
15 minutes, brother.
Anybody have any experience building walls? And?
It's what it is.
It's what it is. What kind of walls did you build?
Steel studs and wood studs.
Okay, what did you think of the steel studs?
We even mixed it up. We did a steel stud and wood stud wall.
Oh.
It was weird. But
Why? They're just for fun, or?
no, because it was like.
How does a steel stud look like? I never saw one.
It's,
You ever seen a steel stud?
It's a hollow thing. It's like a stud, but it's hollow in the middle, and it's open on one side.
You've never seen a steel stud, Miguel?
Maybe I did, but I didn't know it
Yeah,
was
the
steel.
steel.
I probably haven't.
I mean,
Well, I remember it was on the floor.
I think it costs still that I would just presume it's like a woodwind.
And why do
No,
why
it's
do
like
they
it's like
exist?
this.
Steel studs, honestly, are great. The reason they
Those
exist,
bands.
the reason they exist is they don't burn. Okay.
I never saw them.
The only problem with them is that they move when you try to screw them in.
They move. It's a whole different. It's a whole different animal compared to a wood stud. But the bonus is.
How do you get just the picture?
The real bonus is, Miguel, is that they're bang on straight. There's a steel stud there. Okay, so that's kind of the profile you have. They're really loose, like Michael said. Like if you frame a steel stud wall, you can grab the studs and move them. It's not solid like a wood wall. What really keeps it solid is your gyprock. It's the sheathing that you put on it. Okay. The reason we use them, they don't burn, so very often you can use it for that, and you can get long lengths. So when you see a big, tall wall on a commercial, industrial, you can have a 20-foot long stud, no problem. They just mill it out at the shop, and it's you know, it works really well. The reason I like them is because they're perfectly straight. So I used to do a lot of prepping for showers. So you would have to frame the inside walls on the shower, and if you're installing like big fancy 2x2, like 2 feet by 2 foot tiles, there's no room for any roundness in the wall, you know. So if let's say you frame your wood wall, you guys know what it's like, right? We do all these calculations, we do all this stuff up here, everything's great, then you go down there, and like I keep saying, you add the human factor and you add the wood factor, so your wood's a banana like that, right? So if you frame your wall, okay? And you have a bit of a round because your studs are round. So what's going to happen when he puts a perfectly straight tile in there? Right? So he used to drive them nuts. So after a while, I just said, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to frame my wall with steel studs. And they're perfectly straight all the time. So when you put that sheathing on, like I did Ditra in a shower, it's usually a different kind of gyprock or a different kind of sheathing that you're going to put on in the shower. That wall's perfectly straight. So when he comes and he starts gluing his tiles on, he's got no dipping, he's got no adjustments to do or anything like that. The other bonus of steel studs is when you're doing little commercial jobs, let's say I got a gig up here, say we're working in an office, and Yan wants a closet, cheap little job, right? What do I need to build it out of wood? No, I need my pouch, I need my hammer, maybe a nail gun, maybe a skill saw, chop saw, you know, you need the whole kit. To do a steel stud wall, you need a pack of steel studs, your pouch, and a screw gun, and a pair of snips, you know? So I used to use them a lot for doing little kind of, little bulkheads in closets. You know, you gotta build a little box in a closet. Let's say you have like a drain coming down in a basement, you have like a 3-inch drain, you just gotta build a little gyprock box around it. To do that out of wood, it's a pain in the ass. And you gotta cut the piece of wood, you gotta nail it together, you gotta do it. Steel studs, when you have to take a 1/4 inch off a steel stud, you do it on the ladder with your snips. You don't have to get down, put it in a saw, you don't have to pick up your skill saw, you don't have to deal with anything like that. So yeah, you guys in your career, you'll probably deal mostly with wood studs, but if you go into more commercial industrial stuff, systems intérieures, it's mostly all steel studs. And some guys hate them, and some guys love them. I love them. Nice and light, nice and easy to use. It's good for some stuff, not great for other stuff. You're not gonna frame a whole house with steel studs. That's kind of weird. They're also expensive. But for special applications and special jobs like commercial, industrial, you can use a lot of steel studs. All this here, I would bet $1 million is framed with steel studs. Yeah, so you guys, it's pretty much like a 2x4 with no wood in there, right? So this little flange is pretty loose. So when you know, all these studs, you can go up and grab and move. You know, it's the gyprock.
It's not hard.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So, Michael, you built some walls. You found it hard work.
Yeah.
It's tough work. You're into the guts of carpentry, okay? Okay, bit of the history of walls. Why do we have walls? What do we build walls for? It's kind of a dumb question, but
Insulate to protect.
it's like one of the core things of our building, right? So why do we build buildings? Because we don't want to sleep in a field or in the woods, right?
Be able to build a roof.
To be able to build a roof. So structural, okay? So here we go back to our little bungalow. Remember the bungalow, guys? Okay, you built your little floor with Luke, remember? Okay, you did beams, you did supporting beams, and you did joists or poutrelles, okay? So walls are going to kind of work the same way. This is your bungalow, you're going to have your beam in your bungalow, right? You guys following me? We're back to flooring here, okay? Your joists are doing what? Yeah. and they're sitting on what?
Beam.
Sitting on a beam, okay? A beam or a wall, right? So if you wanna build, let's say this was a beam, you could put a beam in and we can walk around and be comfortable, or you can put a supporting wall in. It's gonna do the same thing.
But then the supporting wall will be just dividing the place, right?
Well, exactly. So in our modern methods, our modern ways of building, we would probably say this room was a bungalow. You'd have a post in the middle, and you'd have a nice big LVL, or you'd have a 3-4 ply 2x12 beam, right? You guys learned how to do that. You sandwich it together, you PL it, you build your own beam, or you order it from the store and you say my span's 20 feet, and they deliver a beam for you and you drop it in place. Normally your beam's going to be in a little check in the foundation, right? So as you pour your foundation, you're going to leave a check in the foundation that your beam sits in. Okay? You know, a little check like that. That's supported on that end, and that's supported on that end. What are you going to do in the middle? Normally, you're going to have some form of a post. Even when you learned about foundations in Pathmat, you did your footings all around, right? While you're doing your footings, normally you're going to pour some kind of small pad in the middle of the building. Simple bungalow. All right? That's cool? Now, we've done our floor. Let's say Monday morning we show up, foundation's poured. We screw down, we bolt down our mud sills, our sill plates. You remember all that? You plated the bolts down below. Okay, and then after the mud sills down, what do we put on? The joist.
Yeah.
You start building your floor. So you got your joist, your rim joist. What do you guys call the rim joist?
End joist.
End joist?
Headers.
Headers, eh?
Header, yeah.
Rim joist, solid d'arrive. I can give you about 10 different names. You're gonna frame your floor. You're gonna put your rim joist all around, and then you're gonna have your floor joist, whether it's poutrelles, 2x12, 2x8, 2x4. Cool? Then what do you put on?
Plywood.
Plywood. Okay, you start putting your plywood on, it's nice. It doesn't take too long, take you not even the morning to put all your plywood down. Then, like I keep telling you, the bonus is you have a work platform. You're not standing in the mud anymore. You're going to build a bench. You're going to start, maybe break out the chop saw. You're going to maybe start up an electric compressor instead of a gas generator or a gas compressor. You're kind of getting a little more civilized. You have somewhere to put a drawing table. You have somewhere to take a break. So for me, it's huge. It really makes a big difference. You show up on the job, you're pretty much walking around in billy boots. You're in the mud. So you get that floor done. Once you get the floor done, you kind of have like an office to work in. You know, it's very, very nice. Okay. Now, what we do in modern construction, we call it platform framing. Do you guys know what we call it? Why we call it platform framing?
Because it's where we frame our walls.
Well, the way they used to do it back in the day, they call it balloon framing. All right. Balloon framing is not really done anymore, but the way we think of framing, balloon framing, imagine it. Okay, we have platform framing. So you have your foundation, and then you have your floor joists, right? This is foundation here. This is floor joist. Put your plywood down, right? We have our nice working platform. We have our plywood. Then we build a wall on top of that, right? You guys know all the images of guys raising walls, right? So you're going to build a wall. You're going to have a bottom plate. Then you're going to have your stud. And then you're going to have two top plates, like that. Okay? That's your wall. Not a bad drawing. So what do we do now?
We brace it so it doesn't
You
fall.
brace it, yeah, but once your wall's up, okay? So I'll even put a brace in for you, okay? I have a little block on the floor. You're gonna brace this wall. You're gonna do the whole perimeter of the building. You do all your exterior walls. You build them all on the ground. So you come along, it's a fun part of the job. You come along, you're gonna trace your two plates, okay? And you're gonna split them up, we'll go over that later on. And you actually build your wall flat on the ground, horizontal on the floor. As you're building it, you're going to calculate and make all your openings. So doors, windows, all that has to be calculated and figured out before you build your wall. You build your wall on the ground.